Good evening, everyone. Today is the 29th of November, at least here in Europe, and we are moving forward with our pre-full moon. We're right in the middle of the 5-day sacred pentagram celebration. We've given 2 of those programs already with different insights, and also that brings in the building of the causal body through deity yoga. We do some of that as well. So maybe you'll be able to attend some of those, which are, well, they have been at least this time at 5 o'clock p.m. GMT. And we will still have tonight coming in at 10 o'clock p.m. GMT, our continued daily vigil for the post-election period for the United States. It is a difficult period where all kinds of measures which are hardly in agreement with the law of the land, let alone the higher law, are being attempted, and so we need to keep that vigil going. Now I'm going to just take a quick look here. I should have. Tomorrow morning we will have our full moon actual special time, exact time celebration. And let's see, looks like this is it. Yes, it will be at 9:29 and 32 seconds at that will be the actual full moon GMT, and then we'll subtract an hour and 40 minutes before that. So 9:29, it'll be at 10 minutes to 8, approximately 7:50, that we will be beginning the monthly actual exact moment full moon time. So maybe you'll be able to join us for that. You know, we're all in one big process here, and we can work however we wish, but we're very happy to have you join us if you find that it is possible for you. The moon has just recently, a few hours ago, moved into Gemini, so it will before long be opposite Sagittarius. That's what makes it the full moon, of course. And many people wonder, you know, why is it that we call this the Sagittarius full moon? I got, you know, letters from conventional astrologers that basically said, well, don't you know this is really the Gemini full moon, that kind of thing. But of course we know that. And the idea behind it is that it's the energy of the sun reflected within our lunar vehicles that is of importance at this time. So the guiding energies at this time are the Sagittarian energies, and although Gemini is involved, those are not the particular guiding energies, and therefore we call it the Sagittarian full moon. Well, I also want to direct you to our chat box where Francis Donald's excellent writings on the various signs can be found, and you'll be able to find them on the, I think, the Moria Federation website. Anyway, the link is right there. His evocative images and teachings, yes. So please do, if you haven't read or studied what he has assembled, then please do that. Well, okay, Sagittarius. I see the goal, I reach that goal, and then see another. This onward progression from vision to vision, from vision to revelation. And there is quite a difference between vision and revelation. A vision is still approximate. A revelation is the real thing. And when we follow the vision in the right way, which Sagittarius and expansive Jupiter allow us to do, then the revelation of that which is always present and which signifies initiation is appearing within our consciousness. So this is a time to look far ahead, and as I said a little earlier, try to look into the Aquarian age, because the beam from Sagittarius, that vision, takes us right into the revelations of the Aquarian age. The three planets involved here are expansive Jupiter, Jupiter full of faith, full of vision, full of ever widening horizons, and of an inclusive, intuitive point of view. Of course, there's also a militancy that can go along with Sagittarius, which can be quite, very narrow and excitable, and even dogmatic. So, we look at some of the countries in which that phenomenon we call the Inquisition occurred, and they both have a powerful sixth ray plus Sagittarius, and that would be Italy and Spain. So, interestingly enough, the sacred planet is given the orthodox position, that is Jupiter, and the non-sacred planet Mars is given the hierarchical position. But that has to do really with the ascent of the lunar lords towards a more liberated functioning. They're on their way into the Deva kingdom, and many of them are on their way into the animal kingdom, which is much ruled by Sagittarius. Sagittarius was the occasion of the individualization of man entering animal man, the half man and half horse, entering into the human kingdom. And really is the same when it comes to our Earth, which in a way is not yet a sacred cosmic animal. It's on its way to becoming so. And by the time it takes its third cosmic initiation, it will be well on the path to sacredness. So there's so much about directing us along the path of the Earth's ascension, the Earth's progress, and directing the Earth itself along that path when it will achieve a sacred status. So let us sharpen our vision at this time, and remembering that faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen, let us be filled with the faith that will show us that the vision is actually of actualities, things that do exist. And our faith, it's a very strong Sagittarian word. Our faith puts us in touch with those hidden things until they become revealed to us, until revelation comes. So we have one sacred planet and two non-sacred planets as the rulers here, and Sagittarius is encouraging them along the path, especially from the sacred, from the non-sacred to the sacred. When we look over here at the Jofra illustration, we find the seeker after truth. He's out there like Diogenes with a lantern in the middle of the day looking for an honest man. So even though the tendency towards exaggeration and errant pursuits which don't really lead to the goal can be found in the early days of Sagittarius. Eventually, that beam of light sharpens very powerfully, and Sagittarius sticks to it with great adherence on its way to the mountain of initiation. So we see one of the really important things about Sagittarius is to be transferred from the animal to the man and be transferred from a state of consciousness which is aspirational to a state of consciousness which is intuitive. So basically, the advanced archer sends its arrow of aspiration into the heavens. It looks like our friend Zeus or Jupiter is answering, and that arrow of aspiration returns to him as the arrow of intuition. And so he gets these fleeting glances of reality, which become ever more stabilized as he adheres to one pointedly, and as much as possible without deviation, to the path of discipleship. It does lead to the mountaintop. His aspirations will, if he continues to tread that narrow razor-edged path, will lead him to the revelation in Capricorn on the mountaintop, and the flashes of intuition begin to come in. It's considered to be one of the intuitive signs. It's associated very much with the first and second initiation, but also with the gate unto the third initiation, and later with the great sixth initiation of Chohanship, which takes us on a great journey upon the way of higher evolution towards 9 or 7, well, it's 7 or 9, now it's 9, different constellations out of our solar system altogether. So Sagittarius tends to lead into the cosmos upon the way of higher evolution. And I suppose whenever we're about to change planes, change from the cosmic physical plane at a certain point to the cosmic astral plane and even beyond, Sagittarius would be involved in shooting that arrow forward that, when we follow it, leads us to an entirely new point of tension. Eventually, the great search for truth is extremely important to the advanced Sagittarian individual, and he does find the intuitive light that he seeks and enters via the Antikarana process, which is partially Sagittarian. He enters into the light of the spiritual triad, not just the light of the encapsulated soul, but the light of the spiritual triad. Let's see here. Here is an illustration by Francis showing the descent of thought form from the very highest plane, or next to the highest plane, let's say, from the monadic plane down through the different strata and layers until it becomes something that we can begin to appreciate. The monad itself has a lot of Sagittarian influence because it is the one who travels on the pilgrimage. It's the one who journeys into the far country and then reverses itself and travels homeward. And then later in Pisces is carrying the red cattle of Geryon, the people who are affected by desire predominantly, into a higher state of consciousness. Always, we depend upon Sagittarius to indicate the way ahead. And at first, that way is given to us via thought forms. Later, intuition steps in, and we have what Master Moria calls knowledge, and that too is a Sagittarian kind of phenomenon. Let's see. I want to trying to find here a couple of Francis's illustrations just to give you an idea. Somewhere here. Yeah, this is really an important one because you see the mountain of initiation is glowing in the distance, and you have the light of transfiguration on the mountain top, but the way is obstructed by the one interpretation of the Stymphalian birds, and they, are supposed to be horrible creatures with metal claws and beak, and basically they are thought forms which are out of control, and thought forms which block the passage to the higher realizations. Well, our Sagittarian archer here, unless he has an arrow which splits into many at the same time, is trying to get rid of these birds. And he does do that, but in the labors of Hercules, he does it through two great symbols, which together make a crashing noise, which drive the birds to silence and banish them. And that is the way he manages quickly with this very, very high sound of reality to get rid of the lesser obstructions. We really have to, in the silence, watch what we think, because we're constantly generating thoughts which are obstructive. And Sagittarius will help us enter that focused silence, which chases away that particular tendency and all the evil result of it until the way is clear. And then our arrow will indeed reach to the mountain of initiation, and we will begin our arduous climb in Capricorn. So sometimes the Stymphalian birds are considered a very positive effect. There's a whole gate of the angels in the sky where we have the falling falcon, sometimes called Lyra, the lyre, Lyre, and we have the eagle in Capricorn, and we have the great Cygnus, the swan, out of time and space in Aquarius. Those are very positive indications. But in the labors of Hercules, we also see another side to the Stymphalian birds, and we have to, through very, very focused meditation, quiet our consciousness such that it becomes possible to receive some gleam of the light supernal, which comes from the mountaintop of initiation. Let's see if we have anything here that, yeah, we have here our archer in the Temple of Man. Francis will discuss that. Looks a lot like the Parthenon, in Rome. And the whole idea of a shaft of light, which when aspiration is sent forth, returns with intuitive insight to the archer. You know how it goes. At first, the animal and the man are fused, and then they are separated. Then you have the archer on the horse. Then you simply have the bow, and then you have a fragment of the arrow. So it becomes more and more metaphysical as you go, more and more subtle. Master Mori is frequently speaking of the lightning of thought. And, anybody who has an experience with a close watching of how thought occurs realizes that you have a certain instantaneity involved in the thought process. It's just a flash, and that's what we call it, a flash of intuition. Sagittarius is much given to those kinds of flashes, those kinds of momentary illuminations, which when stabilized and sustained lead to total solar revelation on the mountaintop. Now, there's so much that Francis has written about here, and I just recommend that you read his work as he's bringing decay into the picture. And I haven't really time to go through all that, but it's really worth reading. Just a few things from decay that Francis has gathered, and well, this of course is the Gayatri, and in that temple we were looking at that looked like the Parthenon, the wall, the quotation on the wall is the Gayatri. Unveil to us the face of the true spiritual sun, hidden by a disk of golden light, that we may know the truth and do our whole duty as we journey to thy sacred feet. So this is the ultimate in truth seeking, looking for the great central spiritual sun, which is the sustenance of all of what we normally call our life in the universe. And the archer, as far as the archer on the white horse, some quotes from DK. It signifies the orientation of the man towards a definite goal. And you must ask yourself, really, what is my goal? Now, frequently, the driving energies of the rising sign in your horoscope will give a strong indication as to the general direction of your goal, and then you have to start breaking that rising sign down into decanates and into 2.5-degree sections called dwadashamshas or dwads, and then, even degree by degree. It will help refine that sense of direction that you should be driving towards, and which will reveal, because of your steady, straight-lined, undeviating progress, more and more of the revelation of your inner being. This rider is essentially one like unto ourselves. The Kalki avatar, the Christ. In Great Invocation number 2, he is the rider from the secret place. Human and animal combined, as we all are, but fused with divinity and inspired from on high. Esoteric Healing 269. And then from the old commentary, where is the horse? The white horse of the soul. Where is the rider of that horse, O Lanu? Lanu, is the sincere, dedicated Chela, the real student. Gone towards the gate, O master of my life, but something speeds ahead between the pillar of an open door, something I myself have loosed, and that's that arrow which goes farther than the shooter of the arrow, farther than the archer, and eventually he catches up with his arrow released into the future. As far as the shaft of light, the intuitive and focused attitude of the pledged disciple, it's as if we are a constantly held and sustained shaft of light oriented towards higher points of tension and receiving the influence of those points of tension. And then there is, other things that are being said, and you can study these. You can study these. Something from Alice Bailey and from the Destiny of the Nations. These signs of the zodiac have been building us in our causal nature since the night of time, and they have been equipping our personality to deal ever more resourcefully with the challenges of the immediate environment. So every time we have one of these sessions where we meditate together, you are building your personality faculty as a sub-ray or sub-influence of the Temple of Solomon, which is being built up at the same time, bringing in quality, radiance, color, music, all the things that you are on the higher mental plane. Month after month, we build in that way. Well, as I say, I would like to be able to read more of what has been collected here, but you get the idea, and you can study this on your own. Okay. So let us then proceed into the meditation. We're pretty close now to the actual full moon. I think we're less than 12. Well, we're about 12 hours away, 12, 13 hours, something like that. And as we know, Master DK said he would be on the lookout for people approaching him with group consciousness, in other words, group approach, and he would help to elevate their consciousness. So that's where we are now as we prepare for, tomorrow morning's meditation, which will be at 10 minutes. It will begin around 10 minutes to 8 GMT, 7:50 GMT. So we've completed these days. This is still a little more of the day of dedication, and then begins our day of receiving and holding, the day of safeguarding, followed by distribution. I mean, you can take a 3-day approach, a 5-day approach, a 7-day approach. DK seems to recommend for students of our type basically a 5-day approach, but all of them are valid. So, we come into the quiet with each other. And we realize our identity as the soul within the personality, the extension of the soul. Soul and incarnation is one of the things we are, usually identifying with the personality, but in Raja Yoga, we learn to withdraw and tune out the customary personal vibration and tune in something higher. At first, we tune in the consciousness within the causal body, egoic lotus. But we use the ancient method of Raja Yoga. I have a body, but I am not that body. I have my sentient, feeling, emotional nature, the astral body, but I am not really that. And I have my lower mind with all its thoughts and its processes, but I am not really that. Those are my instruments. So what then am I? Well, that's a big question, but the next level of identification is as the being consciousness within the soul body. And instead of just talking about it, we have to have a real sense that that is our next step of identification. that our truer vehicle is one of light and love, and the impulse towards sacrificial will and the drive towards synthesis and the power of the unveiled jewel. That is more, you might say, our body than the personality. That becomes our new instrument. And that the sense of that has to become more and more real to us. And as we enter into that instrument with an increasing sense of reality, we get the deep sense of the group soul, and that we are really one soul with all the other souls. The soul is one, however. There is no real my soul, thy soul. And that's another step. So when we reach out to the spiritually minded people, the men and women of goodwill, it's all one being, one soul. And when we reach out to the members of the new group of world servers, it's one being, one soul. We no longer use the thought, my soul and thine. And finally, the day comes, maybe with fleeting Sagittarian-like impressions at first, that naught is but me, a great second-ray mantram. Getting behind and within the form, whatever forms may present themselves, naught is but me. And should you ever have any difficulty and friction with your fellow human beings, you might remind yourself of that, and you can carry it to the other kingdoms as well. Naught is but me. Now, to enter the higher spaces, we as if visualize the gathering of energy out of the soul body into that pool of retained energies around the mental unit. The light of the knowledge petals are gathered, the love the love of the petals in the Hall of Learning, the love petals, the spiritual sacrificial will of the mental petals gathered, the sense of synthesis gathered, and this profound expression of monadic will at the heart of the lotus also gathered in a pool of retained energies through which we can visualize the Antakarana passing, largely beginning from the astral body and passing through the mental unit and into the triad as it makes its way, however slowly, to higher and higher points of tension within the triad. That part of our consciousness filled with impersonal realization and with a much expanded sense of self. And we can visualize this multicolored Antakarana, this rainbow bridge, with colors particular to our soul ray and personality ray. First ray red, indigo, second ray, third ray green, fourth ray yellow, fifth ray orange, sixth ray rose color, let us say, and seventh ray violet. But when we do this in our group formation, we visualize largely indigo as the superior, all-pervading synthetic color. And as we perform a meditation like this, we seek information and influence from higher points of tension, and we use the flashing white light through the indigo to reach still higher toward those points of tension. And from the higher points of tension in the triad, influence will come forth and meet our upward ascending projection. And so we will sound the Om 3 times, but internally we will say the word of power. I see the greatest light, as we attempt to come en rapport with that realm of energy wherein the masters habitually focus their consciousness. So we project that beam of white light through the indigo, along the Antakarana. These are all, visual aids, really. And we inwardly pronounce, I see the greatest light, with the outward Om. Om. The word of power of the second ray, I see the greatest light. And from the higher realms of wisdom, something may descend to us, adding to the light content of our consciousness. And we are becoming then sensitive to the area where the masters work and where they habitually focus their consciousness. And at the full moon time, we can do that more successfully than at other times. And so we express our solidarity with the masters, especially certain of them with whom we appear to work most closely. This is a technique given by Master DK. We sound the Om and offer our salutations. Salutations to the Christ, the Master of all masters and the teacher alike of angels and of men. Salutations to the triangle of masters who have done so much to deliver the ageless wisdom and with whom we work in general most closely. Master M, Master KH, Master DK. Salutations to the Master Moria, the head of all esoteric schools and organizations. Salutations to the Master Kutumi, the coming Christ of the age of Capricorn, and the one whose ashram is most concerned now with the reappearance of his brother, the present Christ, Lord Maitreya. Salutations to the Master Tualkul, the designated messenger of the Masters, teaching, training, so many, and relieving his fellow Chohans, Master M and Master KH, of some of their responsibilities so they can proceed with work still higher. Salutations to your own master as you know him to be or conceive him to be. Salutations to the entire spiritual hierarchy of our planet. And imaginatively and as a group, and with deepest reverence and in all humility, as much identified as the group's soul as we can be, we attune to the presence of Sanat Kumara, the king, standing at the center of Shambhala. And a long, silent Om interiorly we sound as we imagine the group imbued with his energy. And so we begin to function with an enhanced sense of purpose, toward which our one pointed, non-deviating approach in Sagittarius continues to lead us. We will prepare then to enter the indigo disc on the pathway, the golden pathway. Master DK gives us this as a visualization. We come together at a point of light, love, and power. We come together in being and in consciousness at a point of light, love, and power. Wherever we may be Geographically, it doesn't make any difference. We are as if together, and before us stretches the golden pathway into the heart of the indigo sun, the symbol of the great second ray and the symbol of the blue logos, in whom we live and move and have our being. And we visualize that the path shortens and shortens, and we as that point travel with the shortening path, the shortening golden pathway, until we find ourselves as if within the midst of the indigo sun. And it is here that we will meet with the consciousness of Master DK as a guiding factor. We will constitute as ourselves as outposts of his consciousness to some small degree. And we will encounter the energies available now, supported by the kind of understanding that he can convey. And we will meet particularly the three planetary rulers of Sagittarius, Jupiter, exoterically, conveying a vision of ever-expanding horizons, and the enthusiastic motivation to move beyond and through the limitations of the present ring pass not. Jupiter is not just there, it is here now. And its impact is intensified at this time. And then we encounter the Earth, our own planet, however temporarily, the esoteric ruler, conveying the realization that our planetary sphere must be spiritually enlivened until it becomes outwardly the sacred planet it already is inwardly. And we encounter Mars, a little less sacred than the Earth, but it is the hierarchical ruler, conveying the zeal to redirect and elevate the tendency of all lunar lords. Through the power of aspiration, they're on their way to a higher status via the power of Mars. Now, all of these planetary potencies are here now. In a more impressive manner than maybe usually, because Sagittarius has cleared the way. So first, we ponder on the power of Jupiter in relation to Sagittarius. This is a good time then to extend one's vision of truth and reality, to expand one's consciousness, to embrace an ever-widening ring-pass knot. A larger and larger world of consciousness we can enter. To embrace the positivity of Jupiter, its assurance of beneficial growth and eventually fulfillment. Eventual fulfillment. And we try to realize the growing sense of all-inclusive wholeness which Jupiter confers. This potency is with us now, and we can take advantage of its presence. We open our consciousness to its impression, and we see its impression coming into the group and groups of which we may be member. And we find then the Jupiterian energy entering our groups. And we'll sound the Om on that as we feel more and more fulfilled in consciousness and in the fullness of our energy system through the system of Jupiter, pointing to higher points of tension and inflows from those points of tension. We sound the Om and feel the group and the groups enriched. This will bring much additional positivity to us individually and in our groups. And then we focus on the power of the earth, upon which we find our present place. Earth is considered to be an etheric planet, esoterically. And there's a sense through the earth that the etheric physical nature of ourselves, other human beings, and of our planetary globe can be enhanced, vitalized, revitalized in ways that help us to disengage from the old rotary tendencies of the moon, which basically have to do with the dense nature, not the etheric nature. Earth compared to the moon, our globe compared to the lunar globe, is etheric compared to dense physical. And we get a clear vision of the path we might tread. It's a path that leads to glorification, at transfiguration, whether for us as individuals or for the planet, ahead of which still lies that initiation we call transfiguration, really a cosmic transfiguration. We realize the earth as a sacred heavenly temple in which spirit can find its embodiment in spiritually regenerated matter. So the quality of the ethers will increase under the esoteric influence of the earth. And we open to those energies of our planetary logos, ourselves imbued by them, our groups imbued by them, our nations and the whole international community and the general soul of humanity imbued by the higher ethers, and we, sounding the Om, imagine this vitalization occurring through the earth. A new form of vitality, allowing us to tread the path undeviatingly and enter into the higher energies, which render sacred the individual, the group, the larger whole. And then finally, in the planetary sense, Sagittarius is hierarchically ruled by Mars. It is a non-sacred planet, lower than the Earth, but it has its role in relation to the elevation of the elemental kingdoms. And it brings the stimulating of the power of aspiration until aspiration becomes transmutation and spiritual elevation. Driving us forward, driving us on quests, driving us on divine adventures, driving us towards realities lying beyond the present ring-pass knots of consciousness, driving us towards the elevatory immolation of the lunar nature. Mars can force us to ascend when used in its aspirational mode. until we are in position to tread the way of higher evolution, on the way to the one about whom naught may be said, of which we consider the Pleiades the main center. So forward and forward, ever forward under Mars, hierarchically, until there is a great transmutation leading to transformation, leading to transfiguration and glorification, driving forward courageously, following the vision which is revealed in Sagittarius. We need this to be courageous and one-pointed on the path. First the path, and then later to be in a position to take the way of higher evolution. We'll sound the Om on the red note C to envision the absorption of this driving power by the individual and the group and all of humanity. Three planets: exoteric, esoteric, and hierarchical, but with an inherent contradiction, growing, as it were, more non-sacred as we move from the exoteric to the hierarchical. But they are present now, and we can be imbued by them. Just as we can think of ourselves as units within the great solar logos, the God of our system, the one in whom we live and move and have our being, the God of love, wisdom, pouring through all planets, through Shambhala, through every monad, soul, and personality. Let's for a moment think of ourselves as solar units. We are that which finds its home within the sun, at least monadically. We are that, and Sagittarius points the way toward finding that home, akin to Polaris, the major star of guidance at this time. And we focus our imagination on the constellation Sagittarius, very bright in the sky, very beautiful. It's so related to bringing the fourth kingdom of nature into existence in early days. So it carries that ray of harmony and through conflict of the fourth creative hierarchy of monads, human monads. It carries the fifth ray of concrete mind, ever interested in discovery, and most intensely it carries the sixth ray of devotion and idealism. Rays 4, rays 5, rays 6. Jupiter ray 2, Earth ray 2 and 3, Mars ray 6. It is that beam of directed, focused light. In this, the point of light becomes the beam. Think of our glamour meditation, revealing a greater light ahead and illumining the way to the center of the light. In that light we shall see light. These days let us follow the beam and see, if we can, internally, toward what that beam may be tending. What is that revelation lying ahead that the beam can reach and disclose? Then we will enter into pondering for the mantram, the positive mantram of Sagittarius. I see the goal. I reach that goal and then I see another. I see the goal. I reach that goal and then I see another. So let us take some time to ponder this individually in terms of our groups and for humanity as a whole. I see the goal. I reach that goal. And then I see another. I see the goal. I reach that goal. And then I see another. Perhaps we can become clearer and clearer at this time about what our goal is, what our group goal or goals are, what humanity's goal can be. Perhaps this would be an excellent time to clarify our vision and move towards our individual and group goals, and thereby help humanity move towards its possible goal, positive goal, looming ahead, just ahead. Perhaps we can use our soul ray and our rising sign and other astrological features to help us ascertain our goal, be more definite about it. Perhaps we can see ahead into a coming incarnation and make the bridge through far-sightedness toward future goals for which we are now preparing. I see the goal. I reach that goal. And then I see another. And on it goes until we reach the very center of the Pleiades. And then on it goes. Within the great being that we have no choice but to name as the one about whom naught may be said, Sagittarius is one of the 12 internal petals in the heart center within the head. It has a special connection with Orion, the hunter. Also with the little bear, and perhaps with the constellation we call the Centaur. And its energy enters our local cosmic logos, the 7 solar systems of which ours is one. It is particularly useful on the path of discipleship as we learn, and it is with Gemini related to Mercury and the carrying of the light and the wings that are found on the heels, a propelling energy entering our solar system, providing the vision, working through Jupiter, through the Earth, through Mars particularly, all those 3, directing the monad forward on its path of monadic destiny. Directing the soul on its great adventure, which is an extension of the monad's adventure. And directing us all on the path of return. It is the director, the guardian at the gate, the guardian at the gate of still higher initiation. Humanity is quite blind, at least so many millions, even billions, are quite blind, but Sagittarius is far-seeing and can enter in where vision is required. So think for a moment, where would you direct the vision of Sagittarius for the welfare of humanity and the better manifestation of the divine plan? Where should that energy, do you think, be most applied? And we'll sound the Om on a secondary note, seeing that energy directed toward the amelioration of some condition or conditions, an improvement in consciousness of humanity's ability to see the vision leading to enhanced revelation. So see the improvement. And this vision will help us move from selfishness into a global consideration of the welfare of humanity and its kingdoms, the other kingdoms of nature, for which humanity is the macrocosm. We can see a wider vision than the narrow, selfish vision, which threatens at this time to obstruct the next stages of the divine plan. So, we will close our reflection with the great invocation, which is visionary, looking forward to the time when these energies will indeed establish themselves upon our planet and move us along the path towards refinement, transmutation, transformation, transfiguration, and in general, sacredness. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Thank you, friends. We look forward to seeing you, those who can, tomorrow at 10 minutes to 8 GMT. That's in the morning. And we have one more program for tonight, which is our vigil. And let's see if I can very quickly locate. You've been using the same link, and I think it ends with 09. It's a Zoom program, and maybe one of our communications group can put that up there if you don't have it. But 09, it ends. It's a long. It's given out also in the weekly program that you can press a link and go there. And also, maybe you can use the whole link. And maybe I should have had this ready for you, of course, but here it is. And yeah, right here. This is the link, this one. So I'll put it in the chat box, and if you want to be with us in, well, goodness, we're going to start in just about, let's hope we have that. We're going to start in less than a half hour. So there is the link, and some of you may want to be with us. It's been a long night and lots of activity. Hold your Sagittarian mantrams in your mind, and let's build towards, I see the goal, I reach that goal, and then I see another. We'll have this ready for you as soon as we can on Makara. Love and many blessings from the whole communications group, and let us proceed toward the goal. Bye for now.